If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast without any minimum amount of listeners. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download your free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Good evening. I'm Kareem McCabe, also known as Kay, and I am hosting the call tonight for Real Girlfriends Across America. We are a company that has a foundation and mission to build lifelong friendships with women across the globe. We will be bringing you hot topics each night, and we are always on the lookout for new hot topics. Follow us on Facebook at Real Girlfriends Across America and head to our website, realgirlfriends.org. Now, tonight I have on the call with me Corinne Tawanda and a host of other girlfriends, and today our topic is going to explore part 2 of Love and Business. Is it a conflict or not? Now, I would like to get started greeting my girlfriends on the line. Hello, Tawanda and Corinne, you there?
Hi, ladies.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. So we're going to get started now. And here's a question that I want you to consider. Have you ever been focused on a goal, whether it was education, a career, or something else, and then you fell in love? Or maybe you were already in a stable romantic relationship and then the relationship fell apart and it caused your focus to crumble. So tonight we're going to talk about that in Love and Business. This isn't going to be a very long topic because tonight we're going to focus on stories. I want to hear your stories of love and business and how you survived. Now, have you ever been focused on your education or career, or maybe a serious project had your complete focus, and then all of a sudden you met someone and fell in love? Corinne, we're going to start with you.
I think this is a setup. I didn't necessarily, I wouldn't say I didn't let it affect what I had to do.
That's it? Tell us more.
You meet a boy, you fall in love, life goes on, right?
Okay, so how did it happen? How did you meet him? Give us the juicy details. We want the tea, girl. Go on.
So I guess if I was to tell a story, I guess I would tell a story about my second husband. We met when he was working at a hotel, and dated, courted, all this stuff, fell in love, and then life went on.
Okay. So what was that like? Were you able to stay productive at work?
So when I met him, I actually was relocating. So I actually didn't have a job, but I was had started going to school, and I was able to stay productive at school.
Okay. So it didn't distract you. You didn't, start daydreaming about him while you should have been studying. You didn't, ditch work to go, kick it with him. None of that happened, right?
No, because we lived together kind of early, so that's probably why that didn't happen.
Okay. So falling in love didn't negatively affect your focus and performance at all?
I mean, maybe I daydreamed about him a little bit, but I mean, like I said, we lived together kind of early on, so we wasn't really separated. I felt like we spent a lot of time together, so that's probably why I didn't get the chance to miss him.
Okay. But well, not even just missing. Just sometimes falling in love can just distract you from what you need to do. Like, and I'll full disclosure. There was a time when I fell in love, and instead of doing my work, I was staring at my computer screen, not seeing a word that was on it because I was thinking about him. That definitely negatively affected my focus. So, if it didn't affect you, what methods did you use to stay focused?
I think that we had spent a lot of time already together. So maybe that was one reason why I was easy to stay focused. And I guess maybe just thinking about when I'm done with whatever I'm doing, then me and him can hang out.
So delaying the amount of time that you would spend with it, or thinking about, okay, I'm going to reward myself by spending time with him later so that you could focus on what you were doing right then?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the outcome of the relationship versus your goal of work or career, or just what you were focused on at the time?
I think that, so I'm sorry, so you mean how was I able to juggle the two?
Yes, like how did you handle it? And also, if it didn't negatively affect your goal, which, was whatever it was, education or career, how were you able to continue and keep going and succeed?
I just think that I just keep the greater picture at hand. So the greater picture would be I need to provide for myself. You enter a relationship hoping that it lasts forever, but you never too certain if it is or not. So I think that in the back of your head, you hope for the best, but you know that it's always a possibility that things may not turn out the way that you want it to. So you have to still continue doing what you need to do to be a protective person.
Mm-hmm. So basically, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any systems of support that you used?
No, I don't think so. I think that I'm pretty private about my relationship. So I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not the type that would tell my friends, like, oh, hey, he's a jerk while I'm dating him. So more or less like, oh, he was a jerk while we were dating. You're like, really? I didn't know. So I think that, I just keep it to myself and just work through whatever I need to do in terms of relationships.
Okay. Thank you, Corinne. So now we're going to move on to Tawanda. Have you ever been focused on your education or career, or maybe had a serious project that had your complete focus, and then all of a sudden you met someone and you fell in love? Has that ever happened to you?
No.
No. Okay. Aw. Were you ever in a stable relationship? I know, you're killing my whole flow.
I know.
How about having a stable relationship that might have fallen apart? Ever had that?
Yeah, but what I was going to say, I didn't meet anyone new and lose focus, because that's extremely hard to do. However, I've been in relationships, and just during certain times, you turn up, you start doing a little more traveling, vacation, and getting more into, quote unquote, the relationship, and that sometimes deters and pulls away from work and focus. I've had that happen, but it's hard for a complete stranger to knock me off my rocker.
Okay. So, how did you handle this? What was the outcome of the relationship versus the goal, and what message did you use to stay focused?
Well, the outcome of the relationship, it ended. It didn't really end so much because of that. It was other things. But yeah, I struggled to regain balance, because a lot of times, like me working from home, and sometimes if you're with someone who doesn't work from home or doesn't understand a certain type of work ethic, they really don't understand if you're working all the time. People don't respect that because they want to hang out. Like, people have the mentality, if it's 5 o'clock or it's 5:30, you should be off, and that's just not how I operate. So, a lot of times in places like during the summer, we were like hanging out, going places, going to the park, going to parties, going to barbecues, and then after I kind of came down off the high meaning, wait a minute, I'm hanging out a little too much and I'm getting behind on stuff and X, Y, Z. I had to fall back from that. So, that's where the compatibility situation turned out because we wanted different things.
So basically, you had to lean back from the relationship in order to move forward in the goal.
Yes, kind of, sort of, yes.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a support network during that time, or did you just sort of push through it?
I think you did a call last week about support networks. I mean, I know a lot of different people, but I'm really my support network. A lot of times when you don't have a whole lot of time and I'm not the type of person that involve a whole lot of people into what I'm doing just because I'm focused on doing it. I understand it, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say support network, yeah, I have a few people that I do deal with, but not a quote-unquote support network. I'm my support network.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you handle just the ending of the relationship for yourself? Since you're your own support network, were there things that you did? Like, did you eat ice cream? Did you, go to the gym?
Well, you know what the thing is,
for yourself?
I know like a lot of times when someone like breaks up, a relationship ends, people do a lot of different things. I was talking to a group of people last week and, a lot of guys say, hey, in order to get over someone, you just get under someone else. With me, I like to stay focused. I throw myself more into my work. I just try to block it out. Like, of course, the feelings are real. Like, I went through a lot of different things with a relationship ending, being sad, just emotional feelings and things like that. But I knew that I remember my why, and I knew that, hey, you got to shake it and, get back focused because you can't afford to not be off task. And then I went through also a period of time to where I just kind of really stayed to myself. I limited a lot of social gatherings and stuff like that because, at one time I would like go out to dinner, go out for a couple of drinks, do this or do that. I wasn't in the social mood at all with friends, with associates, because I really just was still processing. I'm more mental than anything else, and I need to understand it. And when I understand something, then I can process and strategize and be able to move forward. So I internally went through some stuff. I got busy as far as work, stay focused, and just try to keep it off my mind, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. So you basically used work as your way to get past the pain.
Yes, definitely. A large part of it, yes, ma'am. In time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you. So
thank you for letting me see.
We're gonna go. Yeah. So we're gonna go on to the next section, and we're gonna go back to Corinne. Has a goal of yours ever been completely destroyed as the result of falling in love or ending a relationship?
Yeah, I could say that. I was in my last my second marriage. We had plans actually let me just talk about my first marriage. My first marriage, we did have plans to like move and start, moving forward in life, and there's certain things that he did that I didn't mesh well for me, so it kind of changed the whole trajectory of what I wanted to do for the future, because it was obviously planned around him.
So what did you do to come back from that, the destruction of that? Did you give up the dream? Did you try to seek out the dream again? Like, what were your methods for dealing with that?
Just made new dreams. So, I mean, there are certain dreams that I had that were my own, and then there's some dreams that were in correlation with whatever, we had going on. So it basically just made me just I guess rethink things and continue with the dreams that I set for myself, and maybe didn't have to worry about the dreams that we had set together.